Here's a question nobody is asking. When was the last time you made a genuinely free financial decision? Not a decision between two savings accounts your bank recommended. Not a choice between the mutual funds your 401k pre-selected for you. Not picking between a credit card that gives you airline miles or one that gives you cash back on groceries. I mean a real, unscripted, unconditioned financial decision. If you're struggling to answer that, congratulations! You've just stumbled onto one of the most profitable scams the financial industry has ever pulled off. And the beautiful part? It doesn't look like a scam. It looks like freedom. Let me introduce you to something economists call the paradox of choice. The idea is simple. The more options you give someone, the more confident they feel about their decision. Doesn't matter if all the options are bad. Doesn't matter if the options were designed specifically to steer you toward one outcome. What matters is that you felt like you chose. And in personal finance, that feeling is worth billions. Because the financial industry has spent decades building an elaborate theater of choice. And you're sitting in the front row, completely convinced you're the one writing the script. Let's start with where most people encounter the illusion for the first time. Your first job. Human Resources hands you a packet the size of a small novel and tells you to pick your retirement plan. You've got 12 funds, maybe 15. Large cap, small cap, balanced fund. Target date 2055. Bond allocation, international exposure. And you sit there, 22 years old, still figuring out how to do your laundry without shrinking everything, trying to decode a financial document that reads like a legal contract written in a foreign language. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Of those 12 funds, 11 of them have expense ratios that will quietly eat somewhere between 0.5% and 1.5% of your portfolio every single year. And that might sound like nothing, but compounded over 30 years, that gap in fees is the difference between retiring comfortably and dying at a desk. Meanwhile, the one index fund buried at the bottom of the list with a 0.03% expense ratio is sitting there like the correct answer on a multiple choice test that nobody told you to look for. The choice was designed to be confusing, and confusion is a revenue stream. Now, let's talk about banking, because at some point, someone sat you down, metaphorically or literally, and told you the responsible thing to do was to open a savings account. Put your money somewhere safe. Let it grow. And so you walked into a bank and they gave you a choice. Standard savings, premium savings, high yield savings. Maybe a money market account with a minimum balance requirement and a debit card you'll never use. The average big bank savings account pays you somewhere around 0.01% annual interest. The inflation rate over the last several years has averaged around 3 to 4%, which means every year your money sits in that account, you're not saving. You're slowly, quietly, politely losing purchasing power. The bank, meanwhile, takes your deposit, lends it out at 7, 8, 10% interest, and pockets the spread. You are the product. The savings account is just a loyalty program that pays you nothing. And the really elegant part of the illusion? They gave you a choice of savings accounts, so you feel like a responsible adult who did their research. But it gets better. Let's talk about investing, because this is where the illusion really goes full Hollywood. At some point, someone told you that you should invest. And you nodded, because yes, obviously, compound interest, Warren Buffett, all that. So you downloaded a brokerage app, and the app is clean and beautiful and gamified in a way that Skinner would genuinely be proud of. And suddenly you're staring at 8,000 stocks, 500 ETFs, and a cryptocurrency section that appears to have been designed by someone who lost a bet. This is the paradox of choice on steroids. Because with 8,000 options in front of you, the overwhelming thing to do is either nothing or follow whatever you just saw on social media. And both of those outcomes are profitable for someone, because if you do nothing, your cash sits in the brokerage account earning essentially zero while the platform uses it. And if you FOMO into whatever the internet is screaming about, well, you already know how that ends. The illusion isn't that you have too few choices. It's that you have so many choices that the cognitive load of evaluating them forces you into paralysis, impulse, or dependence on someone else to decide for you. And that someone else is almost always an advisor who charges 1% of assets under management annually to put you in the same index funds you could have bought yourself in 11 minutes. Here's the stat that should make you put your phone down. Studies show that the average retail investor underperforms the S&P 500 by around 1.5% per year. Not because they're stupid, not because they're lazy, but because the system surrounding every single decision they make was designed to extract value at every turn. The account fees, the trading spreads, the advisor commissions, the fund expense ratios, the premium subscriptions to research platforms that aren't changing your outcomes anyway. Every layer of the financial ecosystem has its hand in your pocket, and the menu of choices is just there to make sure you don't notice. Now here's the uncomfortable part. Because I'm not telling you the system is evil and you should burn it down and start a farm. That's not the point. The point is that most of the financial choices you think you're making aren't really choices at all. They're pre-selected options from a menu designed to maximize someone else's revenue while giving you just enough agency to feel in control. The actual choices, the ones that matter, are almost always simpler and less exciting than the industry wants you to believe. Spend less than you earn. Invest consistently in low-cost index funds. Don't pay someone 1% a year to do what a target date fund does automatically. Keep an emergency fund. Ignore the noise. That's it. That's the whole game. It's boring, it doesn't have an app, nobody's making TikToks about it, and that's exactly why it works. Because in a world engineered to sell you the illusion of financial sophistication, the most rebellious thing you can do is keep it simple. So the next time someone hands you a 1-5 option retirement fund menu, a credit card comparison chart, or a brokerage platform that looks like a slot machine designed by a fintech startup, ask yourself one question. Who benefits from the fact that this is complicated? Because it's almost never you. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think the financial system is deliberately designed to confuse people, or is this just the natural chaos of a complex market? I'll be reading through them.